Welcome back. Fatherhood isn't easy, but here's the truth that you need to hear. You're not failing them. That's a message I needed to hear. It was worthless coming from someone else. I needed to believe it. I needed to focus on that belief. Yes, fatherhood is relentless and it tests you to your limits. It's a journey about sacrifice, love, and pushing forward when it feels like the whole world is on your shoulders. If you're feeling low, burned out, conflicted, or just plain exhausted, then you need to direct your focus toward the things that fuel you. You are responsible for your action, inaction, and you are responsible for how you adapt to this exciting world. You have to ask yourself honestly, did you think it was going to be this hard? Do you keep yourself to yourself and hope that the rough patches are going to come to an end? Do you hide from those you love and push them away hoping they're not going to notice? Do you feel underprepared and even underappreciated? If it's the latter, then I'm afraid you're going to need to build resilience and strength of character. We need to be strong mentally for our kids. We need to show up even when we're feeling burned out. They need us on form, ready to play and ready to embrace the next challenge. You cannot wallow in self-pity. You cannot tell yourself that you're letting them down and that you're not trying hard enough. You cannot let others weigh you down or let their comments erode your self-worth. Why? Because you're a dad. There is no more important role. They need you to be you, not perfect, just you. I'm Aiden, and for a long time I was overwhelmed. The weight of responsibility was crushing me. I was exhausted, my energy was drained, and I was running on fumes. In all honesty, I was anxious. I constantly questioned if I was doing enough. I felt guilty. No matter what I did, I always felt like I was falling short. And I was lonely. And I was isolated even in a room full of people. I was disconnected. My relationship with my partner was under intense strain. I was stuck in a cycle. And I felt trapped between my work obligations and my family life. I was on the edge. I failed to admit it, but I always knew something had to change before I broke. I was just a dad, trying to find the right path, trying to do the right thing. What I didn't appreciate at the time was how much my past experience and decision making would come back to bite me, even question me when our boys arrived. I believed at the time that I could handle anything and there would be no consequences attached to the way I approached my work and my habits. It was so much easier to carry the dead weight than burden someone I loved with my mistakes. That's my feelings. They were mine. Nobody really listened, and I didn't want to feel ashamed. Let's face it, not a great place to start your fatherhood journey from, right? And I see it in so many men, not just dads. Have I really got my shit together? Am I really clear on how much life is going to change after baby arrives? And am I looking after myself mentally and physically? You're so focused on trying to do the right thing that you miss the simple things, the steps that make a massive impact, like listening, taking over when you can, and setting boundaries at home and at work. There was no support available, and let's face it, I wasn't really ready to talk to someone. But how's it going to play out? Will it really get you the answers that you're so desperately seeking? And most importantly, can you afford it? Do you have access to it? Look, I've got private healthcare and the NHS. And here's the biggest blocker to seeking any sort of support. It's my ego. It's the shame I attach to opening up. When I set out to get back on track, I was determined to do it all by myself. Why? It was during COVID and I had time. I was lucky enough to work from home and I had an opportunity to focus solely on my family and my mental and physical health. Plus, I made a promise that I was going to get back on track. Today I have a 7, almost 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. Time is different. It's spent doing more things. As they get older, you realise how much time you've wasted. That's why I'm telling you right now that if anything today resonates, take a step back, reset, adjust your approach, carve out time to build the resilience needed, and address the conflict that you might be facing. In the early days, you can lose your sense of self. Older generations have set the tone. We must undo the selfless approach and focus on finding the rhythm that enables us to be the dad they need without losing sight of the man that we are. Everything is at risk if you're not prepared to invest in your role as a man, a leader, a partner, and a dad. Fatherhood is about leadership. It's about guiding, leading from the front, but also understanding that at times you won't have it all figured out. There will be times when you lose sight of what is important. And that's why you must understand the impact of your decision making, not just on you, but on them too. We build confidence by investing in the values that enable us to set an example for both our children and our partner. But my friend, that doesn't mean burning yourself out, chasing something for someone else. It's about understanding who you are, the role you play, and the impact you can have if you set boundaries, set goals, and reset expectations. Look, you don't have time. I get it. You think making better decisions and investing in your confidence, self-esteem, and resilience is going to burn hours of time and take a monumental effort. But today, I'm telling you this: any improvement is an improvement. A decision to take better care of yourself has a knock-on effect on all of those people that you love. A decision not to burn yourself out in pursuit of something that takes you away from your kids is a decision worth making. And that quantifying the cost of any action starts with understanding the impact on those you love the most. I tried to push through. I knew I had to keep going, but when the snap came, it was massive. I'd lost sight of who I wanted to be and the father they needed me to be. I was simply in survival mode. You might think I talk too much about burning out. Perhaps I need a little more humour, maybe I'm too serious. But let's be clear, you are shaping a life. You are shaping a life, and you are shaping the world of the person that you brought into it. You are responsible for their future. You cannot cut corners. You cannot half-arse it. You cannot overlook the importance of your decision making, and you cannot wallow in self-pity. A leader is strong, courageous, confident, and is capable of making the right decision at the right time. Look, your change is needed because she and they already see your struggle. They can feel the distance between you. You are underestimating their desire to connect with you. You've missed the importance of honest communication and how it can bring you all closer together. So the question that I have for you is simple. If you're desperate, what's stopping you from moving past this period of uncertainty and overwhelm? This is what I think, and I think it because this is how I thought. It's not a lack of desire, it's a complex mix of fear, guilt, outdated conditioning, and survival mode thinking that keeps you stuck. You, my friend, are like me. We fought to stay in survival mode because we believed it benefited those we love. You're reacting, but let's be clear, sacrificing yourself isn't noble. It's damaging you, them, and it's destroying the connection that you're so desperate to keep. Seriously, you're not failing. You just need to give yourself permission to step back, see yourself through their eyes, give yourself a break, and celebrate just how far you've come. Only then will you see that you're already the father they need. You just got to believe it. Remember, every effort counts. Your kids see you showing up. And it's that consistency that matters. You're not alone. There's a community of dads that face similar struggles. So lean on them. Find them here at the Modern Fatherhood Club. We will support you. My friend, your love is enough. Even when you feel stretched, your love and values are going to be felt deeply by your kids. So reach out, connect, and don't be afraid to lean on others when it gets heavy. If today's message hit home, share it with another dad who needs to hear it. Together we can build a network of dads who lift each other up and show our kids the strength that is found in community. We all need support. We all need to sometimes just take a step back and accept that we can't do this alone. Unfortunately, that is one of the biggest challenges that we face, is that opening up. The shame that we associate with opening up costs us connection, costs us relationships, costs us jobs. It's our fear that fuels that shame, our fear of failure, our fear of letting everyone down, our fear of not being enough. The shame of opening up is overpowering. It stops you in your tracks. It stops you admitting. But in reality, sir, you have already accepted that you struggle. It's got nothing to do with fatherhood. It's got nothing to do with the pressures of being a dad. It's got nothing to do with the expectations that you have. In a lot of cases, it's down to your experience, it's down to past mistakes, it's down to past failure. It's down to your inability to be more open. It's down to your inability to confide in those that you trust the most. It's also down to the fact that you may not trust those around you with your secret. Your children need you on form. They need you committed to the cause. They need you to lead by example. They need you to set the tone. And that means that you have to step up. You have to step back, reflect, understand where you've come from, what you are heading toward, and you want to understand the impact that you're having, the influence that you want to have on those young minds. Your failure is not accepting the challenge. Your failure is shying away from the challenge. That's the challenge of fatherhood. You set the tone, you create a future that you can be proud of because it's a legacy that you leave behind for your children. It doesn't mean that you drive a wedge between you and them. It doesn't mean that you spend every hour working to create something new and powerful and full of excitement. It's about understanding what's the most important thing to you and leaving a legacy that's attached to that. So for me, shaping the world that my children live in is important to me. But what I don't want them to ever experience is the fear of failure. I don't want them to ever experience those things, those thoughts, those feelings that I had, because I know how limiting they can be. I don't want them to lose sight of how important they are. I don't want them to lose sight of their strength, their internal strength, their resilience. That the power comes from within, that they can focus on something that's really important and they can go after it. But they can't do that if someone's not prepared to show them how to do it, not prepared to show up, fail at times, have setbacks, experience setbacks. Your objective is to be the dad they need, is to lead. Lead with confidence, empathy, listen, lead with love. They will always aspire to be just like you. The question you need to ask yourself is, honestly, is the you that shows up today the person that you want them to become? Because if you do need to make changes, if you do need to face some demons, if you do need to tackle obstacles and set new goals and aspire for something greater, don't be afraid to do it. If you're facing internal conflict and you think that you're failing and you don't appreciate the role that you already play, you do need to understand how to empower. You need to connect with that power that drives you forward. And that's why the Modern Fatherhood Club creates resources to support you in better understanding the role that you play, better understanding the role that you want to play, the characteristics that you want to display. We help you become the dad they need you to be, but first we help you appreciate the man that you are. We help you appreciate the impact that you're already having because you're overlooking it, because you're trying to overcomplicate your role. So, if today's message has resonated, drop a comment below. You can share your story with me on a direct message or even by email. You can grab all of our resources on the website. That's themodernfatherhoodclub.com. You can follow us on Instagram. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the podcast. You can grab all the resources that you think are necessary to help you in your role. We now have a full selection of ebooks to help you on your fatherhood journey for that first 12 months, the most important 12 months that set you up for success. We're talking the tips that you need to support your partner through the pregnancy. We're talking the early impact guide to help you maximize your impact in those early days. We're talking paternity leave and how to maximize your impact during that period of time, how to really connect with your baby. We're talking burnout, and we're also talking how to better support your partner on her return to work. This is the Modern Fatherhood Club. I'm Aidan, and this is Friday Fuel. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you for listening, and I appreciate you for the impact that you are having at home on your young family. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you soon.